Well, hello, Facebook. Hello, beautiful people of the Creative Genius Coaching Group. Do say hello. Let me know if you are here, if you are joining us for this. It's going to be an epic live this evening. I am very, very excited about this. So, draw up a chair. I don't know why I'm assuming you're standing. Draw up a chair. Get your favourite brew or a little tipple if you fancy that. You know, it's a bit cheeky on a Tuesday, but there you go. You might also want a notebook. You might want to take some notes here because this live is going to be chock full of really juicy value for you this evening. It's one of my favourite things to do is to make these videos for you. Oh, hello, sweetheart. Welcome. Hello, darling. That's so lovely to have you on board. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah, do say hello when you arrive, and I am going to begin because we have a lot that I'd like to connect with, connect with and offer to you today. So, first of all, I just want to say that hi Annie, hello gorgeous, good to see you. You know what I mean when I say see you, virtually, maybe one day in real life. So, we're going to explore I say everything. We're going to explore a hell of a lot to do with play in this live today. And as I've been, contemplating play, researching, listening to lots of interesting and also incredibly boring videos and reading things about play, the more it occurs to me that essentially everything is about play. And I'm going to explain more as we go along. You might be going, oh, what are you talking about? So hopefully this will be really, really interesting and inspiring for you. So as you go along, do leave any comments. If you're watching this on the replay, do feel free to add any comments at any time, because I would love for this to be as interactive and engaging as possible. And so if you have any questions, or if anything makes you go, oh my goodness, or you have any realizations or anything you want to share, then do please do that, and I will endeavour to keep an eye on. I can't see you, no, sweetie. I can feel you though. I can see your smiling, beautiful face. Yeah, so let's try and make this interactive. So I'd love to know your thoughts and suggestions and comments as we go along as well. So if you are watching, as I'll just say that again, please say hi in the comments. Yeah, and let's begin. Yeah, there's nothing you need to do any more than that, Annie. Just be here and listen. That is it. Yes. Okay, so let me just see what I am going to start with. Yeah. So let's start from the quite near the very beginning. Do you remember when you were little, one of the things, especially probably for maybe many of us of a certain age, before technology came about, one of the ways that we entertained ourselves as a young person were through drawing books, colouring books particularly. So I remember all those colouring books that had pictures of like ducks that were kind of Donald Duck-esque but not quite, and flowers and plants and other animals, and maybe a boat and a lighthouse and a train and all this kind of random things. And we were given some markers, some colouring pencils, and we were told to colour the pictures in. I used to love doing that. Good fun, isn't it? Colouring in. And we did a lot of that, I think, when we were young. The interesting thing is we were trying to be very careful to stay in the lines, weren't we? Do you remember how it was very upsetting or very frustrating if you accidentally, in your kind of little small person hand, kind of the colouring pencil slipped and it went over the line. It's a bit like, oh no. Maybe you had to have an adult to go, it's okay, it's really beautiful still, you're doing a really great job, I love those two colours mixed together. Interestingly, as we get older and grow up into life, we realise that there's something very safe about staying in, colouring in the lines. And that actually life, the expansiveness of life, literally is happening outside of these proverbial lines, outside of the box. And outside of the box is risky as hell. It's safe to stay in the lines. And you think about that in your own life as it is right now, it's useful to reflect on how much am I staying in? How much am I still colouring in inside certain lines or certain rules that I'm following because that's what I was told that I needed to do when I was young. I have a memory of being very little. I think I was in infant school, and I got called up to the front of the class and shamed. Actually, I was very small. It's because I'd taken home my Janet and John book and I'd coloured in with my colouring pencils all of the letters like O and P and Q and D and E and G and all of those letters that were kind of closed in. I'd coloured inside the lines, but I'd coloured in my reading book, and apparently you weren't allowed to colour in your reading book, so I got told off in front of the class. It's interesting for me because that's one of my earliest memories, and here I am today still rebelling against the rules with a little bit more, a bit of a tougher skin around that kind of sensitive part of me that likes to do what I want to do. So not only does life happen outside of these lines, outside of the box as we get older, but this is also about, once we get outside the box, we have no clue as to how things are. We have the rules inside, but as soon as we go outside of that, we have no idea. So in a way, when we start to play outside of the rigidity or the strictures that have been put in place that we've been told to stay in, then we are literally making things up as we go along. And a lot of the research that I found, and this may be very obvious, is that in order to develop as human beings, play is vital. We need to play for lots and lots of different reasons. Part of that is elasticity of the brain, neurons that we create, what it does for us as far as learning and our own evolution and development goes, our own growth, how we connect. Play is very much about relationships. And luckily, if we are lucky, and obviously it's not the case for everybody, if we're lucky, we had a childhood where there was a certain level of safety to play, because we cannot play if we are on high alert, if there's a certain level of trauma in our system, if we are living in a state of fear or anxiety. And you might know that yourself. I certainly know that when I've had bouts of my anxiety flaring up, when I've been stuck in long periods of time with fear, it has been the most unplayful time, because we're just trying to survive at that time. So play, the conditions for play and all the development that comes from that and all the exploration that comes from that has to have the foundation, has to have the right environment, a ground that feels safe for us to be able to do so. So again, just interesting kind of thinking back yourself to being young and thinking about your own experience of what play was like for you. And it's such a vast topic. I'm not going to go into this aspect of play today, but there's a whole gamut of things here. Some of us maybe found play really easy. We loved it. Some of us maybe we were very shy, or we didn't know how to, or we didn't want to. Or maybe we didn't have necessarily people around we wanted to play with. Or maybe we were out there playing and we were getting bullied, perhaps, or being victimized. Maybe we were the ones that were doing that. So there's a lot of elements around those early experiences of what play was like for us that will still be impacting us now as adults. So yeah, thinking about your experience of play when you were younger, and I would love to know any thoughts that you might have about that. I find that really, really quite fascinating. So you could say that one of the big aspects or big benefits of play is for how we grow creatively. Any of us who are artists, and I always say this, every single one of us is an artist of our life. But particularly if you are an actual artist, you work with a particular media, you will be very familiar with play as part of your creative process, and particularly as the first step. The very first step when maybe we're not 100% sure what we're going to be doing, but we've got this original seed of an idea and it's exciting to us and we want to just explore. So it's often the way in. It's the first step. We go in with an attitude, even if we're not aware that's what it is, of play. Play can also be used during the creative process, the kind of middle bit, when we've got stuck, when we feel we've gone a little bit kind of getting into a slight routine that feels a little bit more uninspired in the work that we're doing, when we need to solve a particular problem, whether that's in design, whether that's in a kind of musical riff that you're creating, that you're a little bit stuck on, a character in a book, what kind of particular shade of blue to place in this part of your painting. Again, we'll call upon that spirit of play to help us to discover and explore how to take ourselves further with what it is that we are actually creating. So play is vital to our creativity. It allows us to come up with new ideas. It's how all of invention happens. Invention happens through play. You know, I would ask you right now to have a look around you. It blows my mind when I do this. So have a look around you wherever you are right now. Every single thing, every single man-made, let's go with man-made, every single man-made thing that you can see in the space around you was most likely invented through an experience of play. Maybe the idea was there, but to get to the final form, a lot of play and experimentation had to be happening. That really blows my mind. Everything came from an idea, that spark of an idea that someone had. You know, the person that invented biros, bloody biro, for God's sake. He didn't just think about it. Maybe this is very common for a lot of us. Oh, all these ideas that we have. I'm very guilty of this one. Whoever invented biro, I don't know, is his name Brian Biro or something? He didn't just go, oh, I've got this amazing idea. He went out and probably explored and played with how to get his idea made, and then put his name on it. And I have no idea whether that was the very first thing that was designed, was like, yeah, that's it, or whether it went through a few different designs before it felt like the right thing. The difference between Mr. Brian Biro, I'm just going with that name, and us is that we probably don't take those sparks of crazy invention ideas and run with them. It's actually making me think of two things. One is the father, is it father and the grandfather maybe? In Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Do you remember that film? That great scene at the beginning when he's inventing all sorts of things, one of them being that thing that goes on someone's head and cuts their hair. And all that kind of crazy stuff that I think one of them served an egg for his breakfast or something. I love all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's proper mad scientist invention kind of realm. I mean, Play is totally the mad scientist invention realm. The other person I'm thinking of in this moment is one of my favourite authors. It's a guy called Danny Wallace. And he wrote, amongst lots of other really entertaining books, he wrote The Yes Man. Don't know if you've heard of The Yes Man. It was also made into a film with Jim Carrey, which, they lost a lot by making that film. But he's written a few books where pretty much the whole premise of the book is him sat in the pub with his mate, getting drunk, coming up with stupid, ridiculous ideas. His mate then betting him, I bet you can't do this for 100 days or for this whole year. Like the yes man was basically his mate saying, I bet you can't say yes to everything for a year. You're not allowed to explain yourself. And either because he's stubborn or he's just got that very playful spirit, Danny Wallace was like, right, you're on. And oh my God, it set him off on so many crazy, very laughable adventures, some very cringy stuff as well. But it changed the trajectory of his life. He met his wife actually through doing that. So what do we do with these ideas? Do we play with them? Let me know. Do you play with the ideas that you have? Or do you kind of go, oh, that's nice. Oh, that would be good. That would be cool. Oh my God, I've had this great idea, and tell loads of people about them. And then nothing happens. How is that? Let me know if you're watching this, if that's familiar for you, or whether you do go with your ideas and just see what happens. It's great when we do, because we really then enter the realm of, I have not got a fucking clue what's going on, but I'm just going to go and explore. And then it brings in one of our soul superpower tools, and that is curiosity. We cannot play without curiosity. They're like twins, separated at birth. Not identical, but still twins. They have a certain level of knowing and understanding that runs through their particular DNA. Curiosity. How curious are you? Are you a curious person? I do feel that if you're an artist, it kind of goes hand in hand, being curious, because we're always open to and taking in our experience of the world, every single part of it, and then alchemizing that and transforming that inside of us, and then expressing that out in our own unique language and form, however that is. It's kind of impossible, even if we're very inner, even if we're very, very, navel gazing and our art and everything comes from the inside of us, we still bring in curiosity to look at these places in us and go, I'm going to make some art out of this. I'm going to take this thread of this feeling or this experience, and I'm going to turn it into a memoir, or I'm going to turn it into a painting or a dance piece, and so on. Let's have a look here. I've been playing a lot this week with the words, forms of writing, rhythms, sounds. Trying to get so engrossed. It brings all kinds of things that are surprising me. Yeah. And pleasure. Oh, 100%. That's beautiful. So there's definitely a few things here that I'm going to touch upon. Being engrossed. Yes. Being surprised. Oh, yes. And pleasure. Yum. Absolutely. Problem is with play, because we do connect play with, thank you Annie, we do connect play with and playing out in the realm of the imagination with creatives. and we do put being a creative person as being that artist person, and then we divide ourselves perhaps from those that are real artists. That's such a way that we stop ourselves from playing. Oh, I can't play because I'm not a real artist. It's a real big shame that we put that on there. We're all artists. It's just that maybe we've forgotten. I think Picasso said that, didn't he? Every child is an artist, and the job of the adult is to try to remain an artist, or to come back to that realm of being the artist that's within us. So a lot of it is about just re-tapping into that which is inherently our nature. And we probably don't even realize how playful we are in the way that we dress, the way that we organize our food, in the way that we move, that we walk, that we talk. We're always playing. Our body is always in a dance, in a movement. Our voice is always a song. Everything that we do is an element, an expression of the play of simply being a creative being. It's really beautiful to remember that, especially at times when maybe we're feeling flat or uninspired or a bit lost or low. Even all of that is a play of a certain aspect of who we are. And I will touch upon this a little bit more. So what does stop us from tapping in, apart from this assumption that we're not artists or we're not creative? School and education doesn't help when your teacher tells you that's rubbish, or you get a D- for your picture of a teapot, or you're told you've got what do they call it when you've got tone deaf? I'll read that in a second, honey. You know, we're so cruel to that part of us when we're children. We get shamed for our way that we express ourselves. Can you imagine saying to a toddler that's hearing music and is just doing its toddler thing? Imagine turning around to that toddler and going, "You're dancing wrong." We just wouldn't do that, would we? Or your little kid scribbling with crayons, so excited, showing you. Can you imagine going, "That's shit. What is it?" You know, the stickman, doesn't look like your auntie. We just wouldn't do it. It's cruel. And yet we've done that to ourselves, or we've internalized these messages that the big people, the people that are important and are in authority and know, are told us at a young age. And yes, of course, there are certain people that have seemed to have been born with this certain genius. They have a certain genius, a talent, a gift for something in particular. It's their gift. But even that needs work. Even that needs your, 10,000 hours or whatever they say needs to be put in to make one a master in a certain craft. So the biggest thing that stops us as adults, one of the biggest things, is when you become a grown-up, we get caught in, and you see my face is doing this, we get caught in that very adult thing of productivity. Productivity. It's like we swap the experience, the spaciousness, the wonder of play with a kind of robotic, very linear, very industrial revolution, clock in, clock out, more, faster of productivity. Let me know if this is making you go, oof, oh my God, I understand that, or I feel that in my life. You then go, I haven't got time to play, I have hardly got time to sleep, to be with my kids, to have my relationship, to see my friends, to go to the gym, to go for a walk. Where am I going to fit play into this? We've deemed play as unimportant compared to this very adult grown-upness of being a productive member of society. See, now in my head I'm going, oh, that would be so fun to make a sketch, wouldn't it, of the productive members of society group. PMS. That makes me laugh for some reason. Oh God, we're so strange. We are so strange. I say it all the time. We're so strange as people. So yeah, and then we also have you know, we've got technology now as well, that, and I am so guilty of this, of yeah, of, oh my God, scrolling for so long, so many hours looking for something, perhaps looking at other people's really amazing creative play, watching endless hours of The Waking Dead, because there's 7 million seasons with 7 million episodes, and I'll probably never end up watching all of it. I'm doing that. I could be playing instead. I could be getting my collage box out, or doing a drawing. You know, I've got the ideas now, or writing my one-woman show that's building up in the back of my head. And there's nothing wrong with any of these things that we do, but you know, we go, oh, I haven't got time, I haven't got the space to play, really. And I'm really saying that to myself, by the way, as I say that as well, that kind of, really, don't have time. Yeah, I just want to have a look at what you said here, Annie. When you said I can't play, memory from childhood, I can't come out to play. Yes, thank you. It's too late. I've got homework, all kinds of reasons not to. And I bet you really wanted to. It was probably an adult that was saying you can't because you've got homework to do, or you've got to practice the piano. You know, I kind of get like, thinking about Steiner schools now. My cousin, who's now in her 30s, she was born and raised in California with her aunt and uncle, but she went to a Steiner school, and they don't learn to read and write till I think it was about 7 or 8. Those first years at school is just all about play. It's interesting. A lot of those kind of schools are like that, aren't they? The valuing of play, rather than you've got to sit down now and you've got to have these rules and these boxes and these lines that you can't cross over. Yeah. So, also as an artist, this is for all you artists, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this, because this is something that I've been aware of in my own self, which is quite painful in a way. Do you take yourself seriously as an artist? An artist's job, as I said, is a lot of it is in the playing. That's the process, is the play. But do you take that seriously? You know, playing with colours or textures, playing with sounds, playing with words. You know, that thing, isn't it? Sometimes people go, oh, I don't know. Sometimes people don't take artists seriously. Certainly when it comes to fucking valuing your work sometimes. Yeah. It's an interesting one to ask yourself if you are an artist. And like I say, we all are, but you know, whether you're quite established or you're dabbling, are you taking this seriously? Are you taking your creative play seriously? Are you giving it the respect it deserves as one of the most powerful things that we have in our life? I've had to really kind of realize in myself that, fuck, I wasn't for a long time. You know, there's a value in that, how we value that. So I'm going to offer some questions here for you to, you can take these away and reflect. You can answer them now in the comments. And I'd also really like to know, again, if you're watching this now or you're watching on the replay, how you're doing with all of this so far, this information. What is landing for you? Is anything going for you? So here's some questions. What does play mean to you? What does play mean to you? Think about it. What does it mean to you? It can be quite an intimate, personal thing, play. It can be loud, it can be quiet. It could be with others, it could be by yourself. Playing with yourself, by yourself, is very nice. Playing with others is also very nice. But I digress. So what does play mean to you? And how did you play when you were little? You know, going back to those times when you were young. What was your favourite methods of play? For me, I used to love making up characters. I used to imagine. I had a great imagination, still have a great imagination. All these characters, and I'd play in my house, and sometimes friends, I'd give them the characters and we'd play together. I even wrote and put on plays when I was little. Play means having fun. Great. What does having fun mean? I'm going to go a little bit deeper with that. It's a great answer. What do you mean when you say having fun? How do you know you're having fun? I do this a lot. I really enjoy us questioning deeper and deeper the things that we're saying to kind of understand a little bit more what they really mean to us personally. So I used to play with making up stories and characters. My sister used to play the piano a lot. She used to play with her voice. My brother used to play video games. Those very early days of Amstrad video games. It doesn't feel like work. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't feel like work. But I wonder if work and play would. I feel very blessed that a lot of my work does feel like play today. Do you know what, Kimberly? I'm actually just reminding me of something I read recently, which I found really interesting. That the opposite of play isn't work, it's depression. The opposite of play isn't work, it's depression. It's interesting, isn't it? When we don't play, I know for myself, if I haven't played for a while, in whatever way that is, I feel flat, I feel grey. I feel, oh, yeah, just something, you know, but all the colours have been turned down a little. But like I say, play, you know, for me, it can be putting some music on, having a good sing-along. It can be going out for a walk and getting really engrossed in flowers and smells and taking photos and just, you know, really enjoying that. Simple things. Could be actually having, you know, getting on a Zoom call with a friend that lives somewhere else and just having a great conversation and maybe being a bit silly, and it shifts something. Absolutely shifts something. So how did you play when you were younger? And a follow-up question to that, do you still play now? Do you play? Is there a time in your life and days to play? Yeah, this is it, isn't it? Interesting. I start to feel anxious if I haven't had time to play. Yes, because play is a way also of getting rid of that energy. That's why we send kids out to play, isn't it? Before hoping to tire them out. Doesn't work, does it? Because they're just like fucking Duracell XXX batteries, but we try. You know, when I play, I feel vivified, uplifted. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Isn't it incredible? It's very enlivening to play. So interesting. And again, what does that mean to you? How do you play? How do you play? Have you stopped playing? When was the last time you played? Really, when was the last time you played? Really played? If you've got little ones, you probably play a lot. Or you have a playful relationship. Or you have work where you have to use that, you know, that creative thinking, that design thinking, problem-solving mind. We solve my W and R's. We solve problems by playing. So, yeah, just exploring some of those things. How much time do you give to play? Have you played today? Yeah, playing with children and children is so good for keeping play. Keeps you young probably as well. I think play certainly keeps us young, keeps us feeling alive, uplifted, enlivened, just makes us feel good, keeps things at bay. So I'm just going to run through a few things that stop us from playing. So again, I'd like you to comment on what if anything stops you from playing, or thinking about maybe how you'd like to play. For me, one of the things I would like to play out with is, as I've mentioned sometimes in this group, performance is starting to happen. For a long time I didn't, because I was very shy. I stopped. That stopped me. Oh, that's so sweet. Let's craft. Yeah, playing with craft. Wow, you've just given me a memory of learning to knit by my gran. She taught me how to knit. We also had that weird bobbin thing. What's it called? Like a bobbin doll. That you kind of did that round and round kind of knitting as well. I can't remember what that's called. Yeah. That's really lovely. So what stops you from playing? Do you ever feel like, oh, I don't know. I went for a walk yesterday. I had the most bizarre walk yesterday evening. I don't know if there's like some weird shit going on out there. Some very strange encounters I had walking around the city. But one that was delightful was I went down a little street. I live in the city centre. And I could hear music. And there was just a guy, and he'd put a speaker on the floor and he had his phone connected. He didn't have like a cap out. He didn't have a bucket. He wasn't collecting money. It was a very small little street. But he was dancing. And he had a really smiley face. And I was on the phone to a friend at the time. And I was telling her. And I could feel that part of me that's like, I want to dance as well. And actually I was kind of veering up to do so, but then the music stopped and I kind of moved on and the moment had gone. Self-consciousness could have stopped me then as well. So a couple of things that stopped me from maybe playing. So self-consciousness is a really big one. So let me know if any of these resonate for you or you think of anything else. Embarrassing ourselves. We don't want to embarrass ourselves, do we? We don't want to look ridiculous, make a fool of ourselves. Is that familiar? I was going to have a look at my list here as well. Yeah, it's not what you're meant to be doing socially. It goes against the social norms. You don't do that. Or maybe even family norms or cultural norms. You have to fit into a certain thing. It's like going to a gig sometimes. Particularly, I don't know, when you're sat down and music comes on and you just want to move. Everyone's sat there, especially in Britain. I think it's very British, isn't it? We sit there very... Yes, I've got my legs crossed and my hands... I'll tap my toe. Yes, I might nod my head along with them. Very nice. Probably inside there's a part is going, ugh. You know, I'm too old for that. Yes, this is a massive one. I am too old. Too old to play. Damn, too old to play. Another one that goes along with that as well is, yeah, that I don't have time. And also, you know, I can't because I'm not, as I mentioned before, I can't because I'm not a real artist, or I'm going to get it wrong. The fear of getting it wrong. Like this is the thing about play that's very powerful. There isn't a right or wrong with play. So it actually transcends this kind of binary living that we all live in. The right, the wrong, the good, the bad. It actually transcends difference. It transcends boundaries. And this is, if you think about it, how incredible is that in the world that we live in? Play transcends a lot of the things that have been set to divide us and separate us, create fear, ignorance, and so on. Yeah. What will others think? That old one. What will others think? You know what they'll think? They'll probably judge the hell out of you, but underneath they'll be going, I wish I was brave and could do that. I want to do that. Tell you that, guaranteed. That's what others are thinking. Or seething because they won't let themselves. So we see that others who are being creative, who are being playful in the way that they know how. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm too old. I don't have time. I can't. I'm going to make a mess. I'm going to make a mess. Welcome to the realm of chaos. It's the realm of play. The realm of chaos is both creativity and destruction. You decide which way you want to go. I'm going to list some benefits of play. Benefits of play. Interesting. These are really interesting on a actual biological level. I'll make a mistake. Yeah, I'm going to get it wrong. But isn't it interesting? Because it's that whole thing of, if we don't make mistakes, we don't make anything. You know, again, it's worth thinking about. Is there any time I can remember where I made a mistake, but it actually turned out even better than I thought? Maybe you were making a cake and you forgot to put something in, or you added something else in instead, and you realised it was too late, but then when you bit into it, you were like, oh my God, I've invented the best cake in the world. I'm going to patent this. I'm going to sell it, Marks and Spencer's or something. Actually, a lot of time mistakes makes it more unusual, more us, more unique. And just touching upon a little bit, just before I go to the benefits of, you know, the giving ourselves permission. Again, if we grew up in a household or those kind of younger years of not being allowed to play, maybe we had to be more grown up, we had more responsibilities. Maybe we feel that now. I've got a very important job, I'm a very important person. I cannot be seen playing. No, I'm not allowed to play. You know, we put all these limitations on ourselves. So benefits of play, apart from what we've mentioned around, you know, how it makes us feel so enlivened and allows this vitality to be there, and is great for releasing that kind of anxiety. It gives our energy somewhere to go. It reduces cortisol. This is connecting with anxiety. Play reduces cortisol. That's the chemical that's released in us that creates that anxiety, connected to our adrenaline. Isn't that interesting? It also increases endorphins in our system. Endorphins being the feel-good hormones. That's why we feel good when we play. This is a biological fact. Isn't that fascinating? By playing. It increases connection with whatever it is we're playing with, connection to others when we're playing. It also takes us into, this is one of my favorite things, it takes us into a flow state where time disappears. Time disappears, becomes liquid. We become so present. It's such a relief for the mind to be so present, giving the mind a break. It's an incredible state to be in. It increases our ability to improvise and be in that space of adaptation. It gives us a flexibility to our brain. This is very helpful for our brains, especially as we get older. Shifts our mood and energy, as we've mentioned. Can also alchemize where we get stuck in our creative life. So yesterday I put a post up. I was just really thinking, I can't be bothered doing this whole business, running a business thing. Just couldn't be bothered. So I sat with it and I came, I found these characters that are running a show. And I've got this idea now in my head of one of them I want to draw. I haven't drawn for ages, but I can see her quite clearly, and that excites me. And I might do it as a collage and a drawing thing. And so I'm going to play with these characters. And as I do so, I learn about them. I take their power away. So they can really play, can help us when we're feeling a resistance, when we're feeling stuck, when we're feeling a lot of these aspects of ourselves where maybe we felt quite shameful before. That stopped us. We can play with our shame. Any of these parts of us, they're just parts of us that seem to stop us. We can play. Play is also a vital part of every single relationship. So think about any of relationships, but maybe particularly with your partner. You stop playing. You start playing, you start to take each other for granted, or again gets a bit flat, a bit boring, because you stop playing. Guarantee when you first met you were playing. Same in bed. Same making love, having sex. Playfulness is part of keeping everything alive, keeping the erotic alive. Or it's just a kind of rote, yeah, press that button, do that, rub that for a bit. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound very exciting to me. I'd rather live in that realm of play. It's a teasingness to the realm of play. So, it's also, and this I like this one, it's also an honouring and a celebration of our imagination. Think about that for a moment. When we play, we are bowing to this incredible thing that we have, which is our imagination, this ability literally to build and create worlds. Anything. Imagination is our tool to manifest. I always say imagination is magic in action. So we're celebrating that part of ourselves when we play, which I think is really beautiful. Yeah. So play is this realm of it's limitless possibility. It turns impossible into possible. It's the realm of wonder and awe. It's the realm of being surprised and spontaneity. It's the realm of discovery. And as I've mentioned before, it's the realm of curiosity. It has to be. I'm just having a look at this. I don't want to miss anything I wanted to say. And it gives us an experience of playing out with the mystery, you know, with Great Spirit, the mystery, the unknown, source. And with it, and I said this the other day, it's when we play, it's the greatest aphrodisiac for the creative spirit, for the muse to visit us. You know, it's very erotic. There's a real teasing, there's a real seduction when we go into the realm of play. We're teasing creative spirit, inspiration to move through us, to play with us. It's life. That's our life force. We're literally playing with life. We're playing as life itself. Life is play. It's kind of going right back to how I said at the beginning. Life is play. That's it. You know, full stop. It also allows us, I'm just going to say one more thing here, it also allows us to live in a place that's more open. So it opens our minds because we say things instead, or we're living by what if, or why not, or let's try. So we're open, open, open. If anyone's ever been to an improvisation class, one of the powers of improvisation, to breathe life into, I know, me too, I've always lived that as well. When I discovered inspiration means to breathe life into, I was just like, oh wow, that's so beautiful. When you go to an improvisation class, the main rule of improvisation is you never shut anything down. So if someone's doing something and offers it, you're always kind of going yes and you're adding to it or taking it somewhere else. There's never this kind of shutdown of, oh no, or I don't know. Even if you have no idea, it's yes and. And as I say that, I feel this energy in my body and this tingliness. Yes and. Imagine if we live life like that all the time. Whatever's going on, we go yes and. Whether it's pleasurable what's going on for us or uncomfortable. Yes and. This continuation, this constant unfolding into play. Yes, and it's good, isn't it? Try it out. Try it out. So I'm going to offer you a few really lovely ways to invite play into your life. So there's going to be 6 of these. The first one is, so the first thing is play equals fire. I wrote a little bit about this the other day. Play is literally our creative fire. It's the burning fire in us. It's literally our life force. It's hot. It's a hot mama. And it's always moving. It's always purifying. It's always alchemizing. It's always transforming, melting, molding, sparking into something new. It's always alive. Fire is alive, and it's transformative. It's our sparks, our spark of genius. And the more we trust this spark of our genius, the more we feel this aliveness. We feel the fire. It keeps us warm. Play keeps us warm. So, what I'm going to offer you here is, can you allow yourself to be curious enough to follow these little threads of aliveness, vitality, the sparks, whether it's a spark of an idea, a feeling, an impulse, an instinct. This is you beginning to tend to the playfulness of spirit moving and speaking through you. So that's number one. Let me know how these are landing for you. Number two, play is flow. As I've mentioned, it's timeless, brings us straight into presence. It's a meditation when we play. It's literally magic in action. It's not linear. It doesn't have to make sense. Hurrah for not making fucking sense. Nonsense. Bloody hell. Whew. That's what we need a lot of. We need a lot more nonsense. Proper nonsense, not that nonsense that's going on out in our society right now. That's pure bloody nonsense, isn't it? It's a relief from the seriousness as well when we get into that nonsense, when we get into that flow state. When anything can happen, it's dangerous as well. Play is dangerous. That's why it's so powerful. Think about it. That's why it's quite controlled as well. How we can play. What kind of play is acceptable. You can go and play badminton, darling, or go and play chess. Both of those things are great. Personally, I'm obsessed with chess. But play when we have no idea and it's spontaneous and we're just going to see what happens. Dangerous. It's juicy and it's fun when we're in that place of unknown. So, how, this is your tip, your invitation, how can you invite play and this flow of this kind of slightly naughty, slightly mischievous, slightly dangerous, how can you invite that into the more, I don't know, more mundane, the everyday, the linear responsibilities of your life? How can you invite that in? And it might be simply enough to invite that in without you having to know how or what that looks like. You just open to that possibility. You know, I'm doing my taxes. Can I invite in the spirit of play right now? See what happens. Yeah, remember, play is not us making it happen. It's a force. It's a magical force. So that's number two. Number three, my darlings, is play is about responding. Think about it. Play is responsive, not reactive, which is how we live life when we're coming from all our beliefs, all our stories. Oh, I know how this is going to be. Oh yeah, you're acting like this, it's pressing this button. I can't trust you, it's got to be like that. I need to control this. There's no juice, there's no sap, there's no aliveness in reaction. Yet when we're in responsiveness to life, when we're able to respond, so responsibility, my God, who knows what might happen? This is where soul lies. This is the soulful place and way to live. Being responsive. How can I be more responsive? It's a place of evolving, growth and freedom. It's literally hanging out in the realm of unreality, or the realm of what is not yet reality, because remember, we can manifest and create our lives through the power of our imagination and play. It's one of our biggest powers. So, how can you be in devotion to your own soul today? How can you find more responsiveness in your everyday life? Where can you pause before you go to react? Take a breath or two and ask yourself, is there a way I can respond in this moment? Can I choose to respond instead of to react? Can I be open to not knowing how that might be, but I'm open to it? I'm curious. What do you think of those so far? Quite magical. There are ways that we can put this into our everyday life to invite in the energy of play in ways that are not necessarily what we think of as going out to play. So, I am going to share with you 3 more of these because they're really good fun. But before I do so, I have a quote here actually. Sadhguru, anyone heard of Sadhguru? Who's that lovely Indian guru? Some really wise things. He said this about play, which I loved. He said, the most responsible and responsive way to live is to be playful with life. The most responsible and responsive way to live is to be playful with life. Wow, isn't that great? Yeah, bringing the mischievousness into the mundane. Why not? We've forgotten this. Trickster is such a big part. The fool is such the hugest part. Was in the courts for so long. Was the king's right-hand man. The power of play, turning things upside down, changing perspectives, shaking things up. That archetype, that character had a fuck of a lot of power. Now we just put fools in the main position and they're not even the real fools. Go figure. So, before I share with you the last 3, which are really juicy, I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is, my darlings, would you like to play out with me? So do my eyebrow thing. Would you like to play out with me? So I have something I am very excited about, and it's a package that I've put together. Let's just go straight into this. It's not a huge deep dive program because I'm not into that over the summertime. I want to play. But what it is 3 workshops over the next 3 months. They're very spacious. They take place online. So you're very welcome to come round to mine if you're nearby and want to attend here face to face. That's also an option as well, but mainly they're going to take place online. Now, some of you that have been working with me or have known me for a long time know that I used to run Creative Genius workshops in all sorts of different capacities, and they were very, very beloved. And I haven't really run them for a while for various reasons. So, my loves, I am very delighted to announce that I am running 3. 1 at the end of July, 1 in the middle of August, and 1 in the middle of September. Nice and spacious. And they're all around play. And I'm so excited because they are all going to be extraordinarily powerful, alchemical, slightly edgy, dangerous, and they're going to tap into the things that we've been talking about. So, are you ready? They're called, it's Playtime, Vision, Voice, and Voom. Vision, Voice, and Voom. And each one of these, we're going to go deeper into the thing that we're exploring. I'm now just literally holding my notes here. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not, because I want to make sure I let you know all of this. So this is going to be going deeper into play, because I can share all this and there's lots of things. I really hope you've got lots from this. I'd love to know what you have, if you have got lots from this. And also, if you think this is useful for somebody else, please let them know. Invite them into the group. share the alchemy and the revolution of being a creative person in the world, because it's an anarchy in action. But there's no point talking about play. We have to get our hands dirty. We have to play. We have to get in the sand pit in the realm of life itself. Okay, so you're going to get messy with it. We're going to just explore. So it's 3-part creative play package. Now, I'm going to tell you about them. The first one is, and this is my favorite, and I forgot to put my collage thing here. Anyway, I will add it into the group at some point. Soul board crafting workshop. This is probably my favorite one that I've run for 7 years. Always deeply powerful. It's like a vision board workshop, way deeper, because we use a writing inquiry practice to get way beneath what your visions are that you want to manifest, that power of creation. So we're going to play with our vision and power of manifestation, and then we're going to play with collage images and make our own soul board. Now, to say that these are powerful alchemy is an absolute understatement, to the point of it's a friend of mine now, he came to one probably 8-9 years ago, and he had all these sailing images on his, and he doesn't sail, or he didn't then. And then 4 or 5 months later, he met his now partner. They've been together all these years, who basically sails. That's her big thing. And I've had other stories like that. They literally manifest in ways that you can't imagine from the realm of the mind. So this is soulboard crafting, and it is pure magic. So that's the one at the end of July. Playing with collage is a wonderful way to play, full stop, to make a mess, to get it wrong, to be very unique about how things look like for us. The second, very excited, is a writing workshop. Writing for your erotic self. This is about playing with your voice and your desires, all the juicy stuff. So this is about freeing that inner censor. What is it you really want to say? What turns you on? What gives you pleasure? And we're going to do this in a playful way. We're going to be very lyrical about it. We're going to look at, rather than just writing down, oh, you know, this turns me on, this gives me pleasure, I haven't said this. We're going to come in at all sorts of different angles. You're creating this beautiful art as you write your erotic self to life again. What needs to be said. So this is no more Miss Good Girl or Good Boy or Good Person. This is not about being nice. This is saying what it is you want to say and waking up that fire in you. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of power stored in what we haven't voiced. And we're looking at what erotic expression means to you, essentially, and your capacity to bear and express your own pleasure. So that sounds a good one, doesn't it? And then the last one, which is in September, the new one. This is called Tarot and Your Sassy Sacred Superpower. So excited about this. We're going to use the major arcana, the 22 main cards, which take us on a journey from the Fool, beginning any journey, to the world, completion, fulfillment, learnt all our lessons. And we're going to look at our own creative archetype, the mythology we're carrying with us as we head into the autumn and winter. So we're going to go dive deep with this. You don't need your own tarot cards, but if you have those, you can bring them. When you sign up before the workshop, I will draw cards for each person. And then we're going to do a little picture. It can be a scribble, it can be a doodle, it can be painting, it could be a song, a poem, a dance that honours your particular creative archetype. So we're going to embody this character that has gifts that you are bringing as you move into the later part of this year. Fucking awesome, right? These are the 3, and this is about playing with the sacredness and ritual. So they all have a slightly different connection into play, but they're all alchemy and transformative. So those are the 3 workshops. Okay, they're going to run either on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. All the details I will put in the chat shortly. Now, the normal price for these would be £259. However, I've lost all of where I am in my notes. Here we go. However, up until the 18th, so it's a week from today, I'm just holding this open for a week. I'm going to offer this as a discounted bundle, special offer. So when you enroll by next Tuesday, you get this for £137, and you not only get the 3 workshops, you also, I'm going to put in here, you're also going to get, it's called Viva the Revolution. It's a 3-program masterclass that I ran last summer, which is amazing, and there are videos for that, and there's workbooks. So there's 3 in that. There's being a pleasure activist, there's being a revolutionary as an artist, and there's also it's called 100 Rejections and the Power of Asking. So juicy. Okay, that's worth 88 quid in itself. So you get all of this and those 3 courses, which is very much to fire up that mischievous part of you, all for 137, which is bloody ridiculous if you ask me. So yeah, so if you're interested, you can either send me a message, a DM, or if you'd like to chat about it, again, send me a message. Or if you're like, I'm just going to go for it now, then I am posting the link if you want to just sign up and dive in. Remember, all of the reasons why we think we can't play or be creative might be coming up for you, but all of the benefits and why that's vital is part of what's going to build something richer and deeper and impact all areas of your life. If you have any questions at this point, please write them in the chat and I will endeavour to answer. Now, before we finish, I'm going to go back to those last 3 things that you can start to implement now in your life to invite play in. So, where am I? I really am all over the place here. Okay. Play is magic. As I said, imagination. It's the realm of manifesting, creating our world, which is what we're going to be doing in the Soul Ball Crafting Workshop. So something to take with you right now. What can you imagine for yourself? What can you allow yourself to start to daydream, to vision? What would you like to manifest for your life? It has to start here. We have to be able to hold the vision, to allow the vision, to let ourselves go, oh my God, I can see myself in a palace on a big pink sofa, eating cherries, being fanned by a man, naked man covered in gold paint. If that's your particular fantasy, that is. It might be for maybe a few days or something. That could be quite nice. But we've got to be able to use that muscle of the imagination. Okay, so that's the thing to take with you. Number 2 here. I love this one. Play equals learning. Play is learning. Powerful. Like I said before, this goes beyond right or wrong. It's understanding something for ourselves so that we take knowledge of something and transform it into wisdom. And we do that through the experience of being in it, embodied in it, and we play with it. We learn. We maybe make mistakes. We maybe have these aha kind of realization moments. We may have to throw everything out and start over. We may get disappointed. We may get tremendously excited. All of this. We may embarrass ourselves, make a fool, do it wrong. But we will learn. We will always learn. Being in that improvisation place, as I mentioned. Play allows us to take risks in smaller situations where there isn't the bigger risk. It allows us to experiment without having to take massive risks straight off. And that is very valuable. So my question for you is here, something to take with you. One of the ways I like to do this is to learn and to be open to learning. There's a humility in learning. Is to ask myself a question that I want to learn. And rather than seek to know the answer by this, is I live in or as the answer. So how can I play more in my life might be the question. And rather than try and figure it out, it's almost like that becomes our prayer. Walk down the street, how can I play more today? Wake up, drink coffee, how can I play more today? Go to a party, how can I play more at this party? And then we just let it go, we offer it up. It's powerful, it's open-ended. And then the last one, my darlings, the last one, save the best to last, I think. Play is erotic. I've already mentioned little bits of this. Pleasure's already come up. Play is eternal, can be. It's enlivening to us. Play is the tease, that ultimate aphrodisiac I was saying, for creative spirit, for inspiration. Play literally seduces the muse. So that before you know it, you're in a relationship then. You're building sandcastles together, you're laughing together, sat on a bench, you're going to the movies, you're wrestling, maybe being very tender and listening to each other deeply, you're curious, you may be being rough, cheeky, mischievous, maybe being shy together, maybe you're tumbling and rolling around, maybe you're making love, maybe you're fucking, maybe you're spanking each other. It's everything. Everything. You are literally creating with life. You are literally making life. You are making love. Love is life. So play essentially is all about this relationship. And rather than like having to be good at playing, it's just about enjoying it, being in it, experiencing it, having fun, going oops, working through things, just like any relationship. So the last question, or the last kind of little bit of medicine here with play. How can you invite life as your lover? How can you take life as a playful lover? What would that mean? And this, I have to tell you, is one for me that's had a radical shift in my life. Taking life as your lover. Taking life as your lover. So, my darlings, thank you so much. Any questions at all before we wrap this up? Gone a bit quiet in the chat. I'm hoping that's because you're really letting all this sink in and feeling into the things that I've offered here. And there's been a lot in this live. I really hope that you've got something through this and you've enjoyed this and it's made you wonder and made you think and made you feel something. And maybe made you go, fuck this, I am going to sign up for that 3 playtime workshops on creative play. That package that should be $259 and is $137, which also includes the Viva the Revolution 3 courses masterclass. That's worth 88 quid. So you're saving something like 122 quid, I think. Yeah, as I say, the offer is only available when you enroll before next Tuesday. So spread the word. Places are limited with this one as well. Spread the word. You are so welcome. Any questions, you're welcome to DM me. And again, please let people know if you think anyone else would enjoy this content today. Let them know, invite them to the group, as I'd really appreciate that. But Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, that the sound those workshops. They will be transformative, and I will do some more information about these as the week goes on. But if you know you're in, just go for it. But thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go now and have my tea and probably play with... No, I'm not going to stick Netflix on. I'm ready. I'm ready for some more Walking Dead. Okay, my loves. Thank you again. Take good care and yeah, bow to play. It's